You don't need any special qualifications to be a skeptic, to be a critic. It just means you're not a qualified one. And I suppose there probably are skeptic courses out there and maybe even skeptic degrees somewhere. I really wouldn't know, but in any case, typically what we find is people who have some kind of background in some kind of higher learning, especially STEM subjects, are all quite good and recognised skeptics, and they'll write books because they're academics, they're very much developed intellects, and as a result they're able to express their thoughts quite clearly on various subject matters. However, one does not need to be of that ilk. You could be anyone. You could be a person working in subways, you could be a person who works as a bricklayer, you could be a chef, and you can be a very good skeptic online. A very good critic, a very focused individual. You could be someone or no one, and effectively we're all someone and we're all no one, but it doesn't really matter either way, because you can be whatever you put your mind to in that respect at the very least. You can be an excellent thinker, and you don't need to have a background in, well, whatever the case may be. You don't have to have a background in philosophy, you don't have to have a background in science, you don't have to have a background in anything in particular. You don't need to have gone to university, you don't need to have gone to, some kind of basic, college or whatever the case may be. You could have failed at everything and still be an excellent thinker. But you need to work on that. You need to develop that discipline in order to actually be an excellent thinker and one who can actually express their thoughts in some kind of way which is understood by those you communicate to. Otherwise, what use are your thoughts? Your thoughts inside your head kept there, okay. You might well be a great thinker. Can you type that up, or can you express it verbally? And if you can, very good. But of course, knowledge is key. You could express yourself very well and be a relatively well-informed person, but if you're unwilling to accept new information, well, what use is that? What use is that? But you don't need to be anything special. You don't need to be a person with a particular PhD in mind or a particular discipline or area of knowledge. Just because someone says, well, you're going to talk about this now, you're going to actually go and get yourself a degree in this, are you? And it's like, well, I don't really need it. And most people talking, just simply talking as I am now, or as any other person might well do, here on YouTube, you don't need to be a specialist. You're a person expressing an opinion. It could be informed, it could be ill-informed. The best thing to be is be a person with an educated position. However, if you do not actually have the education, at least some kind of basic knowledge gathering is required. Simple logic, isn't it? The one should basically do their research before they jump in. And this is probably a reason why I don't get involved in big debates. The amount of research required would be a waste of time in my book. Some of the debates I could have where people have said, hey, come on to this live stream, or come on to this, come on to that. And I'm like, do I really have to? Do I really need to? Is it really worth it? For that matter, is it really worth going over old ground over and over? So much old ground out there. Is it really worth going over the same old stuff again and again? I don't believe it is. If you wish to, you can do, but is it worth repeating yourself, in other words? Repeating yourself to the point of absurdity? No, not worth it. It's worth making yourself clear and clarifying things and changing things as you move forward, and changing your position is never a bad thing if you're learning from it, if you're developing your position. But all too often people go, they've changed their position. It's like, well, they might have just simply expressed something differently, given more detail, more clarity, as many stories do not come together simply with their bare facts. But also people changing their minds genuinely. There is no shame in changing your mind.